vessel this corner to the right and the next one to the left are both known as Devil's Elbow. They were named by paddle wheeler captains who ran on the river. Paddle wheelers really began to run on the Colorado River as a direct result of the California Gold Rush of 1849. The influx of miners and settlers moving into and through the area, the Army felt the need to establish a fort in the area and did establish Fort Yuma in 1851 across from what was then known as Arizona City. Arizona City is now known as Yuma. Initially supplying Fort Yuma, they used an overland route which had been mapped out by Kit Carson in 1846. And this was costing the Army somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 a ton to have supplies shipped in. And of course, very interested in cutting these costs, the Army set up a contract to anyone who had come out and established themselves as a water carrier. And in 1852, a man named James Turnbull purchases a 65-foot side-wheeler tug in San Francisco. This vessel, named the Uncle Sam, was powered by a 20-horsepower steam-powered engine, was capable of carrying about 30 tons of cargo. This vessel had to be disassembled into sections, loaded onto schooners and shipped out. Arriving at the mouth, was offloaded, then went to work offloading the schooners which had delivered it. Those schooners also laden with supplies to Fort Yuma. Turnbull successful in delivering goods upriver to Fort Yuma. Problem for Turnbull and the Army was that it had taken him 15 days to do so, and the schooners at the mouth were still heavily loaded with supplies. He was able to completely offload those vessels, but it had taken him 8.5 months to do so. Turnbull left the area to secure a larger, more powerful steam-powered engine. While he was away, the Uncle Sam was inadvertently sunk by one of its crew members. Turnbull never returned to this area. The Army went back to using the overland route until sometime after, when a man named George Alonzo Johnson, who had been operating a ferry system there at Fort Yuma, chose to have a new vessel built. This vessel was 100 feet long, powered by a 50 horsepower steam-powered engine. It's capable of carrying about 50 tons of cargo. Johnson chose to rename his vessel the General Jessup. We're pretty sure his name choice there was no mistake. As it turns out, the name of the man in the Army who would have final say over who's going to be awarded the contract to supply Fort Yuma was also named General Jessup.